Hey everyone, welcome in this new video. In today's video I will explain to you how to play the shooter. Now this is one of the best ships ever and it's fun to play, but it's pretty difficult to play. Well, actually it's not that difficult, but the problem with people is that they mostly don't know how to play the shooter. Most people see shooter as something really easy to play, but in the reality they don't know how to play it. And that's the problem here. So I'll show you right now how you officially need to play this ship. And I won't say I'm the best shooter here, but I'm definitely far from the worst. There you can see behind us is an enemy and we're gonna shoot it down. Boom, 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 boom. Come on. Thank you. Okay, that one is gone as well. Yeah, that's history. Placing tactical napalm. Okay, so what are the most common shooter mistakes? We will soon look at them. And then I will tell you what you need to do to avoid making these mistakes. Just because it is very bad to make these mistakes and you don't want that. Believe me, you want to be a pro, not a noob. So that's the reason why you clicked this video. You wanted to know how to play these ships and how they work and what their weaknesses is. I can tell that the shooter has a variety of combat roles, but it's mostly long and mid-range only. So it's not really meant for close range. That's also with this setup the case here. Though some shooter loadouts can be close range, I won't say that that is always the case here. But as a shooter, from what I have heard, you always want to be top damage. So here we are top damage. Why? Because we are not passive. We are not as passive as everyone else here. Now you can see, the Guardian, it's logic that that one is the lowest, because that's support. So, yeah. But here you can see, Mortar Spammer. What do Mortar Spammers get? No damage, because they sit in the backlines. What do? We push. And that's the thing. People are spamming things, brain dead, like railgun, mines, that stuff. That's bad. I can put those loadouts immediately in D tier. Spamming mines is bad as well, because you will lower your firepower. I won't say that mine is the worst weapon ever to have in your loadout, instead it's one of the best things, but you can only have one mine in my opinion. Because that's just a terrible loadout if you have multiple mines, and that's the mistake that people make. Choosing multiple mines is just a bad idea. Another mistake that people make here, and that is also something that bothers me a lot sometimes, is not having the right controls. If you still have the default controls, I suggest you tap on this video as well, because now you can see here the right controls. Camera relative steering needs to be always off, and you want your sensitivity to be set on 1.50. If you're playing on phone, you need to adjust the joystick a little bit. But that is practically how you play shooter. You want to play aggressive and not just sitting in the back. That is also the reason why I'm actually sometimes a pretty feared shooter, just because I always push. I don't always push. You need to also count on your HP and know what to do. Sometimes shooter can be really difficult, and another mistake that people make, and this is a very bad mistake, is not being aware of your surroundings. And this is mistake number 4. Mistake number 4 is simple. You basically don't see a speeder, a Frostorp speeder for instance, coming towards you, and you will be dead in a second because you will be stunned, slowed, and then boom, you're gone. Instantly, out of nowhere. And this is really bad because your team needs to destroy that speeder. People always say that the Carronade spammers are the issue of this game, but I personally think that Frostorp users later on are a bit more of an issue. Though Frostorp requests way more skill than flipping Carronade spam. Carronade spam is just no skill at all. So, but that is basically how I think about it. If you're spamming Carronade, you're just a scumbag. Just stop doing it because you won't come further than Master League. And yeah. Mistake number 3 is very easy to see, and I will tell you that right now. Another mistake that many shooters make. So they make a lot of mistakes. Shooters make a lot of mistakes, even if they always say, oh, it's the Enforcer, because he rushed in. Well, he always is a difficult ship to play. You need to know that. Enforcer is one of the most difficult ships to play. Versus Shooter, you have a fuckload of guns, and guess what? Guess what? The Enforcer has 3 guns, and yet does almost the exact same contribution. Is that fair? No, of course not. So I think that the shooters should admire the Enforcers by what they can do with just 3 guns and low HP and without HP regen, because every ship in this game has a flipping bandage except the Enforcer. You can give it a bandage, but you will put yourself in a disadvantage of movement. So you need to play a little bit with that, and that's also why I created a custom loadout, because I like to play it. And it's a really interesting ship. But the thing is that people in this game, they get worse and worse. And yeah, you know, the next mistake that many shooters make is rushing in while not being with your teammates. And why is this so bad? Healers count that you keep staying together with them. Now here you can see me making this mistake as well. I'm chasing someone brain deadly, but you know, I did a ton of damage here. I saw that I did a ton of damage, but I died. Now this is a Carronade spammer, really bad. But that's just the thing with this game, you know. The shooters, they are just, I don't know. And here you can see, yet I'm dealing more damage. Why? Because, well, Gatling gun obviously is not a weapon you want on shooter. And this is just a terrible loadout, because you don't have anything that you can fire instantly at short range. So yeah, those are the mistakes that most shooter players make. And also what the thing is with spamming people is they said, oh, but I need to learn this gun. That is their excuse also sometimes for spamming a gun. Here is my advice to you. If you want to be a weapon master and you want to master every single gun in this game, well, not every single gun, but let's say that you want to learn the missile, the railgun, the grenade, and the blast cannon. We will learn it faster. The spammer, which will spam railgun, then grenade, then blast cannon, or the person that learns all these guns at once. Basically, it's simple. The person that learns all the guns all at once and to combine them into one loadout. The reason for this is simple. It's very easy. because you learn everything at once and you learn to combine weapons together, such as the napalm with missile, which is something that I self invented. I thought that this setup would be pretty creative to play and that not many people play it. The plasma is the the napalm is as a counter against plasma. The missile is for amazing damage and area of effect hits. The grenade is to help the blast cannon in for in case when I don't have a speeder. If for instance, what if I have a speeder coming towards me with grenades? I absolutely don't want to get dominated. No. You fire the grenade, then that will affect fire, and you will fire the blast cannon because you can't always fire napalm at close range. That's the reason why I selected it. This is a pretty decent setup. So if you want to copy it, you can. And if you prefer a torpedo loadout, you can basically choose something different. There are way more shooter loadouts than there are of fixer loadouts. There are only a few fixer loadouts, so that's the thing. So get creative and build your own and make it balanced. Don't make it outbalanced like a mortar spammer or something. In my opinion, mortar spam is the most lame ass thing you can do because it requests no skill at all. All you gotta do is swipe your finger and just release the button, and you fire a shell and it hits the target. That's all it does. It's nothing outstanding. It's nothing extraordinary, such as the missile, which is very hard to use, but it has splash damage, it has fast velocity, it has everything. I really like the missile, but it is a difficult weapon to use, so get ahead of it and try to study it. And as a low league player, I will not suggest you equip it, but if you really want to play it, you can equip it. But anyways, that was it for today's video. And I wanted to also make some special mentions, I think, of the shooters making mistakes. So special mention number 1 is not using cover fire. Now, what is cover fire? Some people might ask, what the fuck is cover fire? Well, cover fire basically means you have guns that hit, that you can fire while sitting in cover. Like, for instance, you sit behind this, well, clunky thing, and then you fire your missile over these things, obstacles, and they hit the target without the target hitting you. Now, you can see this as a bad mistake from people because they spam cannons or something like that, which are point weapons, so they can't be fired from cover. But this is a major mistake because I also see people not doing that. Hit your opponent when you can hit your opponent, even if it is in a certain diagonal. I have hit tons of people with the grenade launcher while they had a cannon and tried to hit me. How stupid can you be? If you have an ineffective weapon at that range, for instance, I have the railgun, but I try to hit someone that is using the waves. That person is behind a wave. I can't hit it with the railgun because the railgun will be wasted. And that's not something that I want because the other person can grab the railgun and shoot me instead. So you don't want that. So what do? Well, simple. You switch to the missile and you aim and boom, you have the target. Easy. Or if it is close, switch to your grenade launcher. Just drag it around, fire that thing, and boom, you're done. Just switch to the weapon that is at that point most effective. And that is the last tip I have for you. Goodbye and have a nice day.